So this next session is about high performance teams. How many of you have been on high performance teams? 2. Everyone else had sucky teams? Okay, what was good? What characteristics would you say your high performance teams had, or your sucky teams you desired that they had? What characteristics did they have? Everyone produced their work in good time, okay? People are happy, productive. What else? High energy, high commitment. Commitment, that's actually one of the differences between a performing team and a non-performing team. What else? Yeah. Continuous improvement, thank you. Yeah, what else? Ladies, what else? Don't you think you'll get away with that? Okay, what else? Responsible, yeah. What else? Open communication, absolutely, yeah. Good communication, communication period, yeah. Okay. What else? Highly motivated. This was one of my fabulous teams. This was a team that worked on the FIFA World Cup, microsite for FIFA. Yeah, my hot team. It was also the busiest I've ever been with a project. And you can imagine that during the final games, there's games every night for 30 days. We were living and breathing the project, the work. We stayed in our workplace until 2 a.m. And some production issues required intervention until 4 a.m. So it was very intense, but it was very high productive. So, as I've introduced yesterday, I'm Silvana Wasitova. I have been doing Scrum for the last 12 years. As a coach for the last 7, I did Scrum in Yahoo as a Scrum Master for 5 years, and have coached at Microsoft, at Skype, at Swiss banks, UK insurances, and so on. And what I'll share with you are the things that high performance teams had. They absolutely need to have not just a goal, but a common goal. Some of you saw this yesterday. This is on a scooter or on a motorbike, and if the guy on the left moves or wiggles, it's going to affect the guy on the right. They better have a common goal, otherwise nobody's getting anywhere. And what you often see in organizations is, oh, there's a goal for this side of the organization and a different goal for this side of the organization. How likely is it, do you think, that this side will help that side? How likely? Yeah? Or vice versa? Because if you have a goal and your bonus is depending on achieving your goal, who cares? Of course. So within an organization, absolutely essential that there is a common goal. And it's clear and it's communicated from above. It could be suggested to above, but it needs to be clear, and it needs to be clear to everybody that everyone is pulling in the same direction. And the team needs to deliver on that goal. I heard of one team in one of my organizations that was working on a particular feature set development for a whole year, and nothing was deployed. Yeah. Yeah. What a waste. It doesn't matter how good a Scrum team, how good anything else, if they're not delivering, why do it? Why work on it? So they absolutely need to deliver. And this particular example comes from Catalonia, from Barcelona area, where they do these human towers. It's actually an incredibly exciting and very risky endeavor to take on. And you can see when they're preparing for it, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but there's a lot of communication. The team members communicate all the time. When they touch somebody else, the strength of the squeeze is a communication. When they push somebody's shoulder, when they provide support, that's communication. And that's what needs to happen inside a team. There needs to be constant and transparent and trustworthy communication. In high-performing teams, you get that. The team members need to collaborate and help each other out. Same thing with the company goals. If people are aligned on what they need to do and they help each other out, everybody wins. The same thing happens at the team level. And by the way, these slides are already on SlideShare. The link is in WhatsApp, so you have access to all of this. So help each other out. And most important is to have trust. And what happens if you don't have trust? What do you do if there is no trust in a team? You can't work together. No respect. Blame. Oh, blame. Yeah. So what do you need to do then? You need to build trust. You absolutely need to build it. Trust doesn't just happen. I mean, some people, even when they meet somebody, they start with position of trusting, at least at a sufficient level. Not everybody does. And then you need to build it from there. And if it's not present, how do you build it? Test is one way. That's one way, is test and see how they respond. What's another way? Know the person. In fact, this is one of the best ways to build trust, is to get to know each other. This particular slide is a summary of an exercise I sometimes do for building trust. You can read it. It's also on SlideShare. It looks like this. And that exercise is about two individuals telling each other's life stories, and you can tell afterwards that the trust level has increased. So that's one way to build it, getting to know each other. What are other ways to build trust? There are absolutely some things that really make a difference. Appreciating somebody? Yes. When you appreciate somebody, they know that not only did you notice, but you're thanking them for their efforts. You notice their efforts, and you are appreciating and giving them recognition for that effort. When is the best place to do recognition? Or what is the best way to do recognition? Performance appraisal is one place, sure. Other places? Yeah, that's definitely one place. Huh? Stand-up meeting? Yes. Dinner? What? With the money? Lend the money. Lending money is a sign of trust, yes. Okay. What else? Gratitude, okay. And when is the best place, or what is the best place to give the appreciation? During one-on-one? What else? Hmm? At? At their home? Okay. What else? At a special moment? Yes. Absolutely. Company town hall. Say more about why is that a special time or place? Precisely. Recognition is best given in public, and conversely, reprimand is better given in private. But when somebody has done a good job, reprimand. Bad guy, you did a mistake. That kind of conversation, it's better to do it in private. Nggak ilang muka, yeah? So recognition in public, reprimand in private. And in public, even when it's a small symbolic thing, not even a monetary value, but when it's given in public, that whole appreciation is multiplied because it's witnessed by multitude of people. So one of the recognition items in Yahoo that we had was, you know the saying, "You rock." You rock, yeah, you know that? Yeah. So that recognition was given with a rock that had on it painted, "You rock." And it's given to the person in public that you rock, and people would then display it at their desk. It's a recognition. It's a public recognition. What's another way to build trust? What are some of the things that you can do to build trust? You. What can you do? Be dependable. Ding, 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 ding. Number one way to build trust is to be dependable. Nggak ada jam karet. I take responsibility for my actions and my results, for me and towards the team. Be dependable. Absolutely. Deliver on your word. Deliver on your promise. When you do that, people will know he's reliable. He's always delivered in the past. We know he will be there, right? So be reliable, dependable. And within a team, have each other's back. What does that mean? Back up for each other, cover for each other, help each other, all of those things. Giving others? That too. Because the person will remember. The person will thank you, even if they don't say it, and they'll remember it for next time. And it's not that you do it for tit for tat. You do it because you want the team to succeed. Yeah? And it doesn't mean just yes, 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 oh, whatever you say, whatever he says. No, 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 no. You need to challenge each other. You need to be fully awake, fully engaged. If you're working with each other, why are we doing it this way? I think there is a better way. You do need to challenge each other. Why? Why should you challenge each other? Yes. Troublemaker. Okay, so nggak percaya sama orang. But there are ways to ask the question, right? It's not, why did you do it that way? Boleh diterangkan, ini maksudnya mau kemana? It's a very soft, halus way of asking a question. Well, you need to ask the question, but you also need to ask it in a way that does not offend your target or your communication partner, or also ask it in a way that save face. You need to ask it in a way that you get an answer without hurting the relationship. And there's many ways to ask that question. So and that's very culture dependent, because in some cultures you can ask what do you mean? And people will still respond, right? And in some places, if you say, what do you mean? It's like, oh, screw you. Right? So you need to adjust it to the audience and to the culture, but still, if you want to understand why something is being done this way, or even perhaps there is a better way, or have you considered, and if that doesn't work, I read this paper someplace, can we try that? There's so many different ways of asking a question or presenting a suggestion that is inoffensive. And that's what you do need to look for. And why should you do it instead of the other person? Why should you do it? Why? Yeah? Somebody has to start it. Somebody has to initiate it. And if you already have in mind that we want to go into the good place, you can lead by example. You can guide the conversation, and you can act as a leader in bringing that conversation on a productive track. So start with you. Hopefully the other person will follow. The next time they have questions why, or they have a suggestion, they will do it in equally polite, constructive way. But somebody has to start. Yeah? And in good teams, there is continuous learning. We live and work within industries and technologies that are changing faster and faster and faster. And if you don't learn, if you stay in the same place, you are automatically falling behind. So continuous learning is a definite hallmark of good teams. If things are done the same way all the time, the team is falling behind. And part of that continuous learning is actually holding good, meaningful, productive retrospectives. If you have a Scrum team, have retrospectives and actually see some changes, some results from that retrospective. How many action items should we have at the end of a retrospective? 0, 1, 3. Okay, any other numbers? All of those numbers are acceptable. The guideline, what's the guideline? What's the guideline on how many numbers? Not too much? And how do you decide what's not too much? You can count on fingers of one hand is one way, sure. The guideline is what the team can commit to really do. If at the end of retrospective you have 9 action items, none of them get done, it's useless. And next time the team's going to say, we don't want to do retrospective, it's useless. Right? So come back to do the retrospective and get, maybe it's only 1 action item, but really do it. If you are a team member, then you insist that we do it. If you're the Scrum Master, you remind the team, we decided last time, let's do it. Have we done it? What's the result on it? Next day, how are we doing on our decision? Next day, how did that decision come to be and what were we trying to solve? You ask many different ways, but you encourage the team to bring it up and to get that done. Retrospectives is one of the best ways to grow a team, a regular team, to high performance. I even had a team where our intern, who only joined for 6 months, by month 2 was as productive as the full-timers because we completely accepted him, and during the retrospective, it came up as, oh, I don't want to just do busy work or meaningless work. Okay, we give you meaningful work. And he delivered, we gave him more meaningful work and more meaningful work. And he just took off and really blossomed and delivered. We'll do one little exercise here. Pair up with somebody you don't really know. Pick somebody, pair up with just somebody. You won't have to touch each other, you just need to pair up. Okay? You pair up with each other, you might want to sit closer. And you will get 1 minute. Let me just borrow this for a sec. You will get 1 minute. And in this next minute, you and your pair will pretend, pura-pura, pretend that you're going to go together for dinner tonight. Okay? Okay. And here's the exercise. Here's the exercise. One of you will suggest we do this or we go there or we do that. And the other one will say, yes, but, and suggest something else. Okay? So you have 1 minute, go. Okay, stop. All right. Okay. And now, still with the same person, same exercise, with one difference. Now when the person suggests something, instead of the other one, and it goes back and forth, instead of the other one saying yes but, you say yes and. And it's okay to suggest something else, but do it with the yes and, add a way to transition to the new suggestion. Okay? You have 1 minute, go. Okay. How was that? What's the difference between 1 and 2? How was it? Difficult? Which part was difficult? To take over the topic? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Was it more difficult the first way or the second way? Ah, the first. The second. Okay. Okay. Now, when you did it the first way, how did you actually feel? Busy and hesitant? Okay. What else? Rejected. Because the idea, but, is already saying, I negate that idea, I reject it, and instead I want my idea. Yeah? This is what is conveyed with the word tapi, but. And with the second way, even if the idea changed, how did you feel? Feel better because there's validation. Yes, you said that, and let's add to it. Yeah. So this is an approach that you can use in your daily communication. This is something you can use in your teams. This is something you can use as soon as you get out. Okay, you can tell when a group of coaches gets together. Anytime something is said, there's somebody and that and to add to what the person said, and it's all to validate. Because when you validate somebody else, they feel appreciated and they're more collaborative. It's just human nature, and it doesn't matter which culture. Okay? Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think confrontation should be avoided at all costs?
Should confrontation be avoided at all cost? Sometimes it happens. Yeah, sometimes it happens. For example, sometimes something is unsafe, and there is no time to say, it's like, stop, hold it. Right? So there are times when you absolutely need to not just be firm, but also loud and clear and direct. There are moments for that. Most of the time, that's not the case. So most of the time, we can engage in more appreciative communication. Yeah, but if there are absolutely reasons to be very direct, go for it. Appreciative, high-performing teams experiment and try new things out. It's actually one of the things you'll notice about which teams are already higher performing or which teams are likely to be higher performing in the future are the ones who are willing to try new things out. Even if they say, okay, we've tried it and it doesn't work. Well, sometimes they also say, well, we tried it 3 years ago and it doesn't work, and maybe they didn't quite try the same thing. So be careful for that particular wording. And the teams that play and have fun and tease each other and do things together, they typically build the interrelationship and build the glue, build the cement between the team members, and they become higher performant. So this actually is something that one of my teams did. This was actually one of the guys who's not in the picture said, oh, let's do a movie, let's shoot a movie, and here's the storyline. And so this is actually, we were shooting a movie, and these people are play acting, Amelie, and it's something we did all evening, and we had a lot of fun. And that team, we worked together 8 years ago, and I still remember how much fun we had. And it's one of my high performance teams. It's a memory of how productive we were, but also how well we worked together. One of my teams had BB guns and would at 4 o'clock in the afternoon say, okay, playtime, ka-chung, ka-chung, that kind of thing. I mean, you don't have to do that, but you do what makes sense with your team. Sorry? We should do that. You're welcome to arrange it. Yeah, the person with the idea should help make it happen. So play and have fun, or eat together, have lunches together, or have dinners together, even if it's not all the time. One of my teams in Canada, I mean, this is not in Jakarta, in Canada, we would bring food and we would have potluck together. And it's like, oh, anybody can do that. Doesn't depend on the culture. And develop good habits. The things about having daily stand-ups, having good sprint plannings, those are good habits that develop this sense of we can rely on each other, we can depend on each other, we know how to talk to each other, and we communicate so we know how to succeed with the sprint, or we warn each other when there are issues, and we address them, and we resolve those issues before they bite us, and we actually can deliver sooner or better. So the good habits, and this is one of the keystones of Scrum, is to develop those good habits. And you know this. It's in your culture. It's in our culture. It's in my culture too. This is something you know how to do. This is something you need to do. This is not a foreign concept. This is not a Scrum concept. This is an Indonesian concept. And one of the things to also keep in mind is, like they say on the airplane, if the oxygen masks fall out, put on your own mask first before you put on somebody else's. You do that within a team too. If you have needs, if you need to pick up your kids or do something, you have errands, you do what you need to do for your life, but you balance that with what the team needs. It's what we heard this morning, this Nash equilibrium. You need to practice that. It's one of the things that helps the team. And when somebody says, I need to be away to do something else, the team fills in, chips in, and respects the fact that the person is not available. So the summary is, for a high-performing team, you need to have a common purpose. You need to have respect for each other between the team members. You need to have trust. And something you also know, you need to be reliable, dependable, courageous, and be a kshatriya. Yeah? Scrum talks about courage as a value. It's something you need to live every single day. Is this a good question to ask? How do I ask it? How do I ask it to my boss or my boss's boss? How do I say it? When do I say it softly? When do I say it hardly? When do I do something that I'm not comfortable doing? All of that takes courage. And you have it. And you can do it. This is one of my teams. This is my highest performing team of all time. And this is the team against which I measure every single other team that I encounter. This team. This is the team with whom we worked on the 2008 Olympics. High pressure project, deadline. The deadline's not going to move. right? It was a year-long project. At the beginning, we were going, will we succeed? Can we do it? We weren't sure. I wasn't sure. We knew we were going to give it our best, but there was no guarantee. So we were going to give it our best. We applied Scrum, so at least the 1 year we had something delivered every 2 weeks. And Olympics was 08, 08, 08. On 06, 08, 08, 2 days before the deadline, at 6 p.m., so Wednesday night, 6 p.m., we looked around and said, that's it. Everything's committed and no open tickets. Never in a million years did I imagine that we would be in such situation with 2 days to spare. You know, my imagination was the last 2 months of a project, we live and breathe and sleep in the office pretty much, right? And instead, we were in that comfortable position. And it's because of Scrum, we sliced things to 2 weeks, and because we could rely on each other, including challenging each other, including asking questions, including doing things that we weren't comfortable with. But that's the recipe to deliver. And you can have a high-performing team with your team too. So that's my information. And if you want private or continuous consultations, that's my contact information. Any questions? No questions? Ah, yes. Thank you.
Regarding to the challenging for the growth, but
Yeah.
sometimes for the sake of appraisal, someone challenge the other one just to make sure that he is better than that guy.
To make themselves look good. Yeah. So in situations like that, we have a case where there's a misalignment of team goals. So one of the things you can do there is have a working agreement, have a discussion with the team, or have a private conversation. Because then it's a one-on-one situation, and it does need an intervention, but it starts with a one-on-one conversation. I mean, yes, there are toxic behaviors. Humans are all over the map, and the hardest thing about working in a team is that you're working with humans. They're not always predictable. But you can start with setting good examples and setting good goals that are not just good for you, but good for the whole team. That's one of the things you want to do is, what do we want to do, and what do we agree, and how do we want to achieve it? All right? Thank you very much.